Hey, how's it going, John? My name is Jack here with Mr. and Mrs. Leeds. I wanted to thank you for trying out the site auditor. I hope you got some insight out of that. I wanted to follow up here with a video analysis of your website here as a search marketer and provide some further insight as to what I can see in terms of what's been working out for you and what's potentially out there and how we would be able to help you get there if we were to tackle this project down together. So without further ado, let me go ahead and get started. The first thing I did was I pulled up your website here in a tool called Ahrefs. Ahrefs allows search marketers like myself to look at the metrics of a website. Right off the bat, I can see that you don't have any authority on your website, and therefore you don't rank for many keywords, and you don't have any organic traffic going to your website. Now, I also know that you built this website here earlier this year, around February, and since it's a relatively new website, there's a few things that we need to make sure that we do with this website to really kick it off and start showing up in Google for all the keywords we want to go after. The first thing we want to look into is your backlinks and referring domains. If you don't know what a backlink and referring domain is, it's basically any website out there in the internet that links back to your website by a hyperlink. So what I mean by that is if there is a blog out there that's called the webdesignblog.com, and in a new blog post they mention your website and they say, hey, if you're looking for an awesome web designer, visit Hiselectronicministries.com. And if the person clicked on that link, it would take them straight to your website. And so Google actually tracks all these different links that are linking back to your website, and they use that information to determine how authoritative your website is. And so the fact that you don't have any of these links pointing back to your website is basically telling Google that you're not an authoritative website and you're not the kind of website that other websites like to talk about and refer their visitors to, and you're just not going to have a lot of authority on your website, and that in turn is going to affect your rankings because authority is a big part of Google's algorithm right now in determining how quickly you rank for the keywords you want to rank for and how highly you want to rank for them. There's a lot of other nuances behind that, but that's generally a good way to look at it. And so we need to increase the number of websites that are linking back to your website, and we got to just start linking to your website. Now, we provide this as part of our SEO. We build the authority on your website by doing outreach and things like that. But the thing that we might run into with this project is that because this website is relatively new, it started back in February, we're right at that cusp where we're not going to have to worry about sandboxing, but we might still run into that. Now, you might be asking yourself what sandboxing is. It's basically a hidden kind of algorithm that Google cooked into its search engine that basically says for the first 6 to 8 months, even almost a year, basically newer websites are going to have a harder time ranking for the keywords we want to go after because a lot of them can be spammed. And so that's the kind of situation we might run into here. And in order for us to kind of work around that, what we need to do is a series of things like some press releases. Press releases help add pillow links to your anchor text, which basically just overall just helps build the authority on your website. And we also want to make sure that you have some social signals going your way. That way it shows Google that you have all these people that are socially engaging with it, and it makes sense for you to start getting links from websites externally. If you don't do any of these other things and you just start linking to your website immediately, Google might flag it, and then all the effort we do in terms of your SEO isn't going to result in anything in terms of ranking you for the keywords we want to go after. And so that's the kind of thing that we would do if we were working with you here. The other thing is just kind of working on your website. Now, right now it's a very rudimentary website. You don't have any much of, if any, photos. We need to make sure that we have more of that kind of thing because it just increases the validity on your website. I don't think these ad spends are going to be worth your time because you're just not going to get enough traffic for the service that you provide for these kinds of AdWords to be worth it. And they're kind of distracting and unprofessional. So when someone lands on your website and they see these kinds of things, they might be thinking, oh, this person is just trying to make money off of me. How much credibility do they really have? And so we want to make sure that I would just clean this up. I guarantee, even with like thousands of people visiting your website per month, you're just not going to make money with these AdSense ads for it to be worth your while. But it's up to you. But it's just providing my input. The other thing I would do is I would have an opt-in form. So there isn't, actually, you know what? You need a contact page, right? So how am I going to contact you? if I want to get in touch with you, right? So we want to make sure that we have some kind of contact form so we can reach out to you if we need to, whether it's a phone number. I would recommend doing like an opt-in form where someone says, just enter your name, email, maybe phone number, and what your question is about. And then that way you can get a lead that way. And if someone's like, hey, I was maybe thinking about making a website for our ministry, I was wondering if you do that kind of thing. And then you could reach out to them and be like, hey, we can totally do that kind of thing. What were you looking to do? Blah, blah. Initiate the conversation, do it that way. Because a lot of people don't like to actually talk to people over the phone, but they're more than willing to kind of enter the details and then wait for a phone call back from you or an email back from you. So that's definitely just a way to capture more leads and increase conversion rates. And I would highly recommend doing that. Now, let me go over to the services tab and kind of go over what exactly I assume you want to capture. So I assume what you want to do is you want to be involved in web development, desktop applications, and mobile apps, right? And maybe some cross-platform in between. But I'm just going to tell you right off the bat, web development, desktop applications, mobile apps is a big industry, and there's a lot of competition out there. I would know, because we have one ourselves, right? And it's very difficult for you to rank for a lot of these keywords. Nationally, I'm not even going to bring that up because you would have to spend so much money and so much time before you can even actually see a result in terms of ranking you for some of these bigger keywords on the first page. And so instead of that angle, what I highly recommend doing is looking into ranking for your local area that you are located in. And so if you're, for example, located out in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, what I would do is I would make sure that my SEO and stuff like that are geared towards that kind of thing. So if you're looking in Philadelphia, it would be like Philadelphia web development, Philadelphia desktop applications, that kind of thing. And even then, you're going to see a lot of competition running into this, but this is a very powerful workaround because you still get plenty of traffic in terms of people searching for web development, that kind of thing in the local area. But it's going to be a good way for you to not have to compete with national companies that have been, that have been doing SEO on their company on their website for years and years, and have spent tens of, even hundreds of thousands of dollars into their marketing. And so that's what I highly recommend doing. That way you can even capture the map pack, right? So your local searches can show up. And then you can show up in that top three spot for maps, and that's what I would highly recommend looking into. Something that helps with ranking locally for maps is having your citation. So submitting your name, address, and phone number into the local directories are a big thing, and then just kind of building out the authority that way. That's going to be a lot quicker for us to rank you for that kind of phrase, and then you're just going to see a lot more success and a lot quicker return in your investment doing it that way. So that's what I would highly recommend doing. And then what we need to do is we need to clean up some of the conversion rate stuff. So like I talked about, I think it's very interesting that you have this angle of kind of into like the Christian and that kind of field, because there's a lot of ministries and there's a lot of churches out there that do need help like this that really don't know who to reach out to. And this could be a great angle for you to look into. Now, I just thought of this at the top of my head. Another angle we could look into is like maybe Christian website development. Excuse me, sorry. Christian app development, church websites, church app development, that kind of thing. Might be a great angle, something to look into and do it that way. So we're very good at what we can do in terms of SEO. Since we have our own SEO company and we also do web design, a lot of the resources that we use for our own websites and our own platforms, we can translate and use that and to help increase your conversion, increase your traffic and your SEO on your website. And so we do already have all the tools for that, and it's going to be pretty powerful in terms of how quickly we can rank you and how highly you're going to rank for all the keywords we want to go after. Now, what I would like to do is just ask you a few questions about which kind of direction you would like to take with this website, what your kind of goal is like a year or two down from now, and then maybe what your marketing budget is, and then come up and hash a plan of attack, and then go ahead and get started with this from there. Now, if you don't have a lot of marketing budget set aside to build this website out and to start bringing in traffic organically, I do have an offer that I want to make right here in this video. I haven't made this offer to anyone else, but I want to try it out with you. And basically, if you can bring us a client and we can land them for SEO, right? Because you can do the web design, you can make the web design all pretty and the app and things like that, and then we can take care of bringing the traffic to their website. If you can refer us, we'll do your SEO for the first 3 months for free, and I'll waive the setup fee. Now, normally our setup ranges anywhere between 500 to $3,000, just kind of depending on how big the website is, how much time and resources it's going to take. I'll waive all of that for you, as long as you can bring us a client. Now, if you bring us 2 clients, we'll do the SEO for 6 months for free, right? And so that's just an offer that I want to throw out on the table in case you're interested. We've had this kind of partnership before with another web design company here in the local area, and it's worked pretty well for us. And so I just want to toss that offer out there, yeah, so we can do that way. That way you don't even have to spend any of your money to basically for us to start ranking you for this. And then from there, what we could do is kind of like a snowball effect where you start landing a bunch of web design clients, and then we can do the SEO for them, and then even vice versa. When we have a lot of web design people that we work with as well. Even though we do web design as well, sometimes it's just the amount of workload, and so we like to pass it off to web designers that we know personally, and that's the kind of relationship that we can absolutely set up with you as well. So John, definitely possible for us to do this kind of thing. Let's just kind of sit down. Well, not necessarily sit down, but let's just kind of chat. We can do a video conference call. We can just talk over the phone. We could even just bounce back by email as well. But appreciate it. Hope you, at the very least, you got some insight. And then look forward to talking to you soon. All right. Thank you.